Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we are connecting to Spirit, so messages from the other side. We're going to break this reading down by identifying who this other person is, and we'll look at their characteristics, their relationship to you, and most importantly, the messages that they actually have for you today. Now, before we get started, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Before you're on the screen, we've got 4 different cards to choose from, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. And it's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through strongly for you today. Just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we've got card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. Taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards. Which of these comes through for you the strongest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4? Down below there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading, and today we're looking at messages from the other side. So let's jump on in and have a look and see what's going on here. And I'm up here at Wheel of Fortune and the King of Swords. I felt this person was a very central figure in your life that stems back from your upbringing as a child. I felt this was somebody who was very core to your life. I felt this was a father influence. It was not a father, it's definitely somebody who had a father-like influence upon you in terms of being a very strong mentor, somebody who was strongly supportive of your upbringing. I feel like this was either a divorced parent or somebody who lived in isolation, or if they were in a relationship with the other parent, it's like they were very cold and very sort of separated within that context of being just very difficult to make contact with at a deeper level. I thought this person could be really hard on you, very strict upbringing by them in terms of everything had to have a place and everything had to be in its place. And if it wasn't, there were consequences that kept you on your toes and left you feeling very sensitive to this person's presence. I kind of feel like you're always looking over your shoulder, making sure that you're doing everything right, because you don't want to have to deal with this person if it goes wrong. They could be quite a disciplinarian. Their authoritative nature is very overbearing in a way that makes you second guess yourself. It puts you on edge, That's what I felt with this person. There's a hardness here that can be also very calculated and very manipulative. Like this person just has to look at you and you know what they're thinking and meaning, and you know what they want you to do. They kind of rule. It's not that they rule with an iron. Well, they do. They rule with an iron fist, definitely. It's very nuanced in terms of kind of just tuning into you in a way that they don't have to really say much or do much to kind of get you to do what they want. They knew how to work you on that level. They knew how to work everybody. I think everybody kind of gave a lot of space to this person. Nobody wanted to have to deal with them head on. I felt a lot of trauma with this person. I felt that this person had been through some very difficult situation in their life that felt almost war-like. I wondered whether for some people this person had been to war. And if it wasn't that, it's just a situation that definitely feels traumatized, like almost like post-trauma, I don't feel like this person ever worked through what it is that had happened. I feel like they'd seen things, experienced things that really shaped them to be very mistrustful about life, about other people. And they didn't like risk, so they were very controlled, very controlling. They liked to keep on top of everything in a way that was almost quite suffocated, really. I don't want all of this to sound negative, because I do think that there were a lot of positives about who this person was. I thought this person actually has a very strong influence on you in terms of your upbringing, and that they were very invested in you in terms of making sure that you had everything you need. So you were provided for and you were steered in the right direction. I felt like this person was very invested in your schooling, in your development as a person, because they took an interest on everything that you were doing, or in everything you were doing. Because they wanted you to get the best possible opportunities in life so that you could be successful in your own right. Yeah. But what is really missing for me here is a total lack of heartfelt engagement. I don't feel like this person gave you the warm, fuzzy feeling that embraced you and gave you love. I think this is just not that person. This person fell very short of that in a way that left you to feel like you never really got to know them or to really understand them. A very secretive person. I felt like this person is very private. They don't share of themselves in a way that is giving at a, like a heartfelt nature. That there are things that you just don't know about this person, and that nobody knows about this person. There's almost like a mystique about them, like a enigmatic quality that leaves you feeling, I wonder what they're really about, what's really going on in there in terms of the way they're ticking things over in their mind. It's something very attractive about them. In as much as that, like they're something quite different. They're not like everybody else. What do I want to say about that? I feel like this person had your back with loyalty. Maybe they weren't there with the warm fuzzy feeling, to make you feel good about yourself. But this person had your back in terms of loyalty. If anything went south, it really came off track. It didn't matter what you did, and even if you were wrong, like this person would sort of be behind you in a way that actually, had your back. They were loyal. And I do feel this person could be really overprotective. This is not somebody who I want to bring friends or boyfriends or girlfriends home to when I'm growing up, because this person was mistrustful, and they'd be all over it. Like, they'd give you the third degree on what you were doing, who you were doing it with, what that other person was like. They want to know all the details to a point where it'd make it really uncomfortable. So you had to be very private for yourself. And I felt that you had to keep a lot away from them so that you could do things that you wanted to do. And the problem with that is I kind of feel like this person had eyes in the back of their head, so they kind of knew what you're up to anyway half the time. Like, so if you were in trouble, they knew it before, you even got home to tell them. It's just they were over everything, very networked, very, like, super intelligent. I think that's the thing is that, you couldn't have an argument with this person because they were just, their mind is like an iron trap. Like, you enter into their web, be prepared to be kind of like taken, in a way that is almost spider-like. It's like this person was just all over it in a sticky way. Calculated, one step ahead. Mistrustful of other people is what I want to say. There's a coldness, but at the same time, there's a real sort of very interesting personality that's going on here, because you kind of want to know more about who it is that they are. Very strict is what I keep on getting from this person. I'm going to come over here to the Devil and the Knight of Cups. I just feel that all you ever wanted from this person was their approval. I feel all you ever wanted was to be loved. Like that in a nutshell. There was never a feeling that you were really heard or held or embraced in a way that made you feel that you were connected to this person. And always a sense that you've been pushed away which made you want it even more. I kind of feel like you were always trying to live up to this person's expectations, to be the person to be the person that you thought this person wanted you to be. I feel like, throughout your life, right up until the point this person passed, that you were pushing for approval and never getting it, and always trying to win their affection, win the love that you wanted from them. I felt this person, I want to say also, I felt this person passed very quickly. I feel like it was very black and white, and that it was some kind of weird, maybe even sort of just random set of events or a situation or circumstances that just, like, all of a sudden this person was alive and the next minute they were gone. And it was a very black and white sort of situation where they never got to say goodbye to you, and you never got what you wanted from them, or whether that's their approval or their love. I felt like, you've always made, like, throughout your life, you've made all of these sacrifices to kind of to be accepted by this person, to be the person that you thought that you should be for them. I feel like you've molded yourself. It's almost like you've gone against the grain of who it is that you really are in terms of your true nature, to be validated by this person. And I think as a consequence, there are some really big issues for you around trust, which have almost like been absorbed into your nature by this person, even though it's not like who you really are. I think you could never bring anybody home so getting into your adulthood, the problem was you could never bring anybody home in terms of an intimate relationship that this person would ever approve. They were never going to approve of anybody who you wanted to be with. They were always going to reject everybody who got close to you. They were never going to be good enough for this person. And so I feel like a lot of there's a lot of problems around relationships for you. It's like you can't get too close to any one person because there's a sense that even though you might have a love for them, that that they're not right for you. So like you're constantly rejecting people, perhaps, maybe for some of you, yeah. Or you're not letting them in to get close enough to you in a way where it becomes overly intimate because there's a fear that you're going to have to push them away. Yeah? I wonder if that makes sense for some of you. It's this whole thing of having to constantly make sacrifices to live up to the standards of this person. This person is saying sorry that they didn't give the love that you wanted. They're sorry for rejecting you in so many ways, for pushing you away, but they just didn't have that to give to you because the trauma that they'd experienced left them feeling so insecure about themselves, and they just did anything that they could to stop themselves being in a vulnerable situation. And so opening up their heart was one of the most difficult things that they could ever do. They only ever knew how to be the person that they were, yeah? And they knew that they weren't giving you the love that you wanted. They knew how much you wanted from them, and they couldn't get beyond this, This person was very stuck in their mind, very isolated from their whole, from their heart, from their body, from their experience of pleasure and fulfillment in a way that gave life to you in a way that actually comes really natural to you. And they want to say that they see the way that you are with other people and the influence that they've had upon you, and the way that your upbringing has molded you in the light of who it is that they are, and they don't want you to be like that. And coming down here to the High Priestess and the Ace of Swords, they're saying that if you isolate into your mind in a way where you begin to compartmentalize yourself and you divorce yourself from the feelings that you really have, if you go against your true nature, that's too easy. Like it's not the answer, because that's all they ever did. And they want you to give freely of yourself. They want you just to stay natural. and to be honest and to go with your true nature. What they want to say is that how you are as a person is not from them. It's like they want you to know that perhaps you're more like your other side, like maybe you're more like your other parent or the other side of your family. You're quite it's not just that you're easygoing, there's something very natural about who it is that you are, and that they just want you to be yourself and to stop trying to be something that you think that you should be. They don't want you to be lonely in the future, and they want you to get close to somebody in a relationship, and they want you to learn how to trust by just being yourself and opening up and taking that risk. It's something that they can never do. They blocked you out, they blocked your other parent out, they blocked everybody out over their lifetime. And that they're really sorry that they did that, but at the end of the day, that was their lot, that was their thing that they had to work through. It's not something that you need to work through, because it's not who it is that you are. They're saying don't compartmentalize yourself and to really keep on top of your mind. They don't want you to be lonely. Keep yourself whole. Keep yourself, don't make the uncomplicated complicated. Just go back to your instincts, to the way that you really are as a person in terms of this idea about meeting somebody or being close to somebody in a relationship. Stop feeling that you actually have to live up to the expectations of this person, of who it is that they are. Yeah? Clear the way into the future by just, look, I don't want this to sound wrong. They also want you to let them go because they can see there's a lot of suffering for you by the fact that you never got to maybe say goodbye to them, or that they never got to say goodbye to you, or that you never resolved these outstanding issues in a way that actually put words to the feelings that you really had. This person has an enormous amount of love for you. And they want your life to be uncomplicated. And they don't want you to be like them. This is what they're saying. They don't want you to be like them because their life was really complicated, because they kept everything to themselves. They kept everything a mystery. They held on to secrets that people just never understood the answers to, or understood the questions to. Yeah? Nobody ever really knew this person because this person wouldn't let themselves open up in a way that gave somebody a snapshot of the truth of who it is that they really were as a person. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading, and today we're looking at messages from the other side, so tapping into spirit and connecting in with somebody who is close to you. I felt that this person was very, very close, but the nature of the relationship is very ambiguous. I draw like a closeness that is like either a sibling or a best friend, or a close family relation. That the influence is very connected at a heart level to begin with. I felt that this person was very intelligent and very very quick-minded. I think that this is an interesting person you could have a conversation with about like a lot of different things, and they would kind of turn stones that you'd never looked under before. I think they had a different take on life that kind of forced you to look at new perspectives in a way that were very interesting. Like this is a very thought-provoking person that really makes you question everything in a way that really filters down into something that's very, very core in terms of its meaning. I felt this person took life very seriously. You know, I don't feel like this is a light-hearted person. And, you know, I felt like this is a person who gets very caught up in the details in a way that that just wants to understand things properly. You know, like I think that's a part of what they're like in terms of their seriousness. It's like, you know, this person really needs to understand how things work, how things tick. And so they take a lot of time and effort to really engage with whatever they're focused on in a way that really that really makes sense to them, but also gets down to the truth of what's going on. So we're here at Judgment and the Page of Swords. You know, that's where we're starting here. I felt at the same time, this could be a really difficult personality. You know, like this is somebody who does worry a lot of anxiety within this person. And so sometimes they can be really irritable and just things that should be really straightforward can be really problematic because this person has a tendency just to kind of get caught up in too much nuance, too much detail. I felt that this is somebody who took a lot to manage. Like, you know, like it's a personality that needs to be handled with a bit of care, a lot of patience. And I felt in terms of this person's passing that this was a very slow, chronic situation that happened over a very long period of time. I felt that they suffered an enormous amount, and that as a consequence, you know, like it's kind of like it's something just really deteriorated in terms of their health. I kind of felt like it's a very chronic situation. You know, it could be, you know, it could be cancer, or it could be some kind of disease that just took a long time, but, you know, slowly but surely gnawed away at the quality of their life in a way where I felt like it really affected them in terms of their personality. And I think it really pushed them into a place that really made them question life in a way that perhaps was very confronting for your relationship with this person. I feel like there was a lot of suffering for them, and that over the time where things became really bad in terms of them suffering, it just, you know, like it really affected them to the point where they couldn't get their head around what was happening. You know, like it's like, why is this happening to me? And I feel like there was a lot of resentment about that they didn't take this this process in terms of the way their life had developed very easily. I think that they felt very resentful that they actually had become sick and that they were suffering to such a degree. I think it really forced them to look at their belief system as well. I kind of felt like this person lost faith in, not so much in life, but maybe about the idea of what an afterlife was all about, you know? I felt like this person passed away in hospital or some sort of a care setting. I felt like there were really good people around them that looked after them. And I felt that this person had very close relationships with these people who gave them that kind of care. And that in many ways, the people who cared for them in the end actually maybe even got to know them better than perhaps, you know, their family or their friends did. I felt like they needed a lot of resources through this period of time, that, you know, that care was very important for them. It was a very painstaking process of really making sure that this person was okay, and it took a lot of resources to get them through to the point where they had actually passed. But I do feel that this person, you know, they had a predisposition to really worry about things, to be very anxious about life. And so it's almost like they weren't very well equipped to deal with the kind of illness that they had, or with the kind of death that they had. And this person, you know, right from the beginning, before they ever got sick, was always the glass half empty. They were always kind of erring towards the side of doubt. You know, they were always very cautious and suspicious of things in a way where, you know, they weren't, you know, like 100% anyway. So a process like this really kind of knocked this person off their perch in a way where I felt like it really affected them. And it was almost like it was too much for them to get their head around. Yeah, it's quite a difficult situation. And I feel back over here to Temperance and the Eight of Swords. I felt I felt that your relationship was a very close relationship in the beginning. Again, this sense that, you were very much involved in each other's lives at a very heartfelt level. And, the two of you were quite enmeshed in terms of understanding each other and giving to each other. But I felt that this process of illness really got in the way of your relationship, and that it caused a kind of a division almost. It's almost like this person started to block you out. I also felt that this person found it very difficult to accept where you were coming from, and there were sort of very big differences in the views that you had in terms of your belief systems. And I felt that this person blocked you out towards the end, and that they wouldn't let you in. Their health came between the two of you, actually, is what I felt. In some ways, it almost forced them into a very unhealthy point of view. Like it was a very cornered position, a very cornered way of looking at things that felt very attacked, I feel like this person's kind of suffocated by a feeling of oppression. I feel that... I feel like a lot of negativity that comes out of that position, that just doesn't look at all the pieces of the whole. I kind of felt like I think they tried really hard to kind of keep things up in terms of the relationship that they had with you, but at the same time, they just couldn't kind of let go of this way of thinking. And it really came between the both of you in a way where I felt that it caused a rift of some sort. Very poor mental health and very poor health. That just kind of triggered them into feeling I kind of get a victimized individual here. I kind of feel like this person feels really victimized, and that nobody understands me. Nobody understands what it is that I'm going through. How could you see things from my point of view? You wouldn't understand because you're not me going through this situation. And I feel like there was an enormous amount of effort from you to try and bridge this gap in a way that gave them some kind of confidence as to maybe where they were going in terms of their spirituality, or perhaps even their afterlife, or to understand to give them some sort of an understanding as to why this was happening from a more holistic point of view, or a universal understanding. And this person just, it's kind of, they dug their feet into the ground, you dug their heels into the ground in a way where they weren't going to buy it. They weren't going to have that. And I felt that they were very personal at times with you in a way that it's almost like they wanted to project onto you everything they felt that was projected onto them. They wanted everybody else to get as bad as they were getting. It's like a wedge. The health issue became a real wedge between the both of you. And they couldn't help themselves, It's kind of, they're just almost too far gone. Things are sort of eaten away at them to a point where they were just feeling so weak about everything, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I feel like this person lost faith. That's what I want to say. I feel like this person lost belief in the bigger picture, and maybe lost belief in people. Their faith really just took such a beating through this process. And I felt like it was a slow, long, very insidious deterioration that just really affected everybody who was involved with them. And this person is saying that I can see what it is that I've done. I never meant to try and push you into that situation, or to push you over the edge, or to make you doubt yourself. But I just had so much suffering that I couldn't help myself. Right? And they're also saying now they can see your point of view. Now they understand what it is that you were trying to say. It was never about you. It was never about who you were, what you were, and how you saw things. It was about their own crisis that brought them to the brink of actually having to question their faith. Down here at Magician and the Four of Pentacles, I kind of felt you had to really look after yourself in this situation. It's like you had to really... I think you're a very holistic person who is very motivated and actually looks at things from many different angles. And as a consequence, you're quite empowered. So I think this was a very confronting experience for you, because the negativity, the deterioration, it's like, this person just couldn't see where you were coming from. And I felt that in some ways, the light that you brought to this person was very confronting. But they're saying that there was almost like a resentment, to you, because you were in such good health, not just physically, but also, you just seem to have your head on your shoulders in a way that, saw straight through it. And that was too much for them. They couldn't handle that. You were very grounded through this whole experience. Yeah. You were spiritually grounded. You had a holistic understanding. You were incredibly supportive. And even though this person was the way they were with you, you took almost like a backseat position where you stood very firm, you stood your ground, and you didn't allow yourself to get sucked down into this vortex of negativity. I felt that you were really helping out with this person. This person wants to thank you and say thank you for being there for me in ways that perhaps at the time I didn't know. I felt like you were running around town for this person. You were putting their affairs into order. You were actually giving them all sorts of practical support that actually gave them a very grounded sort of foundation so that they could get through this situation with some dignity. Yeah. You helped to make sure that they had everything that they needed, and that you stood very firm in the light of how it was that they really were. Effectively, what this person wants to say is thank you for bringing healing to my situation in a way that didn't seem obvious to me at the time. Thank you for giving everything that you gave me, for the support, for the practical and material means to leave this life with dignity. Okay. I think the thing is that the relationship that you actually had and still have with this person will stand the test of time into beyond this world, because at the end of the day, it's actually a heartfelt connection that is based on love. And the circumstances that prevailed towards the end of this person's life were a part of a trial or a test or a tribulation is the right word. I don't know if that's the right word, but it was a difficult set of circumstances you just had to get through, because at the end of the day, it just was what it was. People do suffer. And this person wants to say, thank you for helping me to get through, because even though it might not look at or have looked at, you actually helped to lessen my suffering. And they want to apologize for all of the negativity that they projected onto you during this period of time. And they've had so much respect for the kind of person that you are, and for the way that you not only got them through this situation until they passed, but also the way that you held your own head high. You held your own dignity in light of everything that was coming at you from them. Okay. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading, and we are looking at messages from Spirit today, so tapping into the other side. And I'm up here with Strength and the Knight of Cups, and I felt very strong energy coming through here that indicated somebody's lover, a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, somebody who you were very intimately associated with. I felt this was a very gentle person who loved you very deeply. I felt the love between the two of you was fully articulated. I kind of feel like you were heading in a direction in your lives that were inclusive of each other in a way where both of you were the center of each other's worlds. I feel like you were best friends and lovers. It was all part of the same deal. I think you just got each other. And I feel like you felt you were both very lucky to have each other, is what I want to say. I feel like this person passed too soon, before their time perhaps, for some of you. There's something very young at heart about this person. I felt that this person was very creative in terms of their nature. I feel like they're very naturally talented at a lot of different things, but maybe creative arts or sort of some sort of artistic pursuit was a part of what that meant. This could be somebody who was very poetic or musical, or like I kind of feel that they really tapped into this very loose and sort of fluid creative potential. I don't know that they ever had the ability to fully articulate that. I don't know whether they were ever heard on that level, but I felt that was definitely within them. And I felt that a part of that came through in the way that they were as a person. This was a genuine person who really engaged with other people in a way that was very present and honest, There's a warmth here that comes through in a way that is incredibly inviting. If you're another person who is around this person, you just want to kind of tap in to their experience. I feel like this person has a lot to give. They're very warm. And they listen. There is a patience at a level of, I guess, almost like understanding that you need to take time with people and to understand them and to give a little bit to get something back. I don't feel like this person ever expected anything back, but I feel like they gave a lot of themselves with people. I felt that this person was very social and that they really enjoyed the company of other people. Like to have a lot of people around, like to go out to gatherings of people or to meet up with friends. And I felt like that's obviously, like a part of who they are as a person. I feel somehow that you're very similar to this person, or that you get this person and that you were kind of on board with that aspect of their life, that you had a lot of people around the both of you. And that perhaps this person was instrumental as a consequence of that, yeah, or as a part of that thrust. So I kind of feel there's a gracefulness about this person that just like something very refined and finely tuned in terms of their emotional self, their artistic self, but they're just a real pleasure to be around. Like this person's great company. I feel, like they could host, like a gathering or a dinner or a party or any kind of event where there would be lots of people, and, they'd be very much at the center of attention, or the central pivotal point as to how it all worked. And it always worked so cohesively, so pleasantly. So like there was always good memories made with this person, Lots of photos being taken, lots of glasses being clinked. I kind of feel that that's the vibe I get with this. It's like, I just feel like lots of memories over time have been made with people gathering around this person because of this person. They were good and they attracted good people to them. So they were great company, but they also attracted great company. Again, the creative side about who it is that they are comes through very strongly for me. Something very poetic, very artistic, very maybe even musical. I wonder whether one thing I felt about this person, they were incredibly articulate. Had an ability to really say how they thought and felt in a way that just was very eloquent. Almost understated, like it's like they didn't need to. They weren't loud or brash. They just kind of held their own in a way where they just they were just themselves, I guess. But I just feel that this is a giving, generous person who entertained and was entertaining and great value on that level. I wanted to say that I felt this person passed at a young age or recently. It feels fresh, like it feels like it wasn't that long ago. And if they weren't young, they were young at heart. I feel like there's an enormous loss amongst a lot of people. Like everybody's been impacted by this because there was a lot of love for this. This is a very popular person. I felt, everybody is grieving. Everybody is there at the wake. Everybody is present at the passing of this person. Your best friend, your lover, the person that you chose to be with was everything that you could ever possibly want in a relationship, in another person. And so the loss of this person has been monumental for you. And I want to come over here to the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Swords. And I felt like just, like for you, it's been like it's like an inability to accept that they've gone, a refusal to accept that they've gone. It's like you're unable to look at the fact that they've gone. It's like, I kind of feel like you're blinded by the past, but at the same time, it's like you're unable to sort of look at the present. You're unable to look into the future. It's like you're constantly in the past, thinking about every aspect of life that you've had with this person, all the memories, all the experiences, all of the things that you had with them. It's like you're clinging to that in a way where you're so afraid of letting it go, because if you let it go, you feel like you'll lose them. I feel like you feel completely lost. It's like your identity was so bound into the relationship with this person. It's like, you've lost them, but you've also lost a part of yourself, if that makes sense. It's like an inability to accept that it's happened, or the way that it's happened even for some of you. I just feel there's this shock value that has just hit me in the face and it hasn't stopped ringing in my ears. It's like it's reverberating, vibrating constantly, just like there. It's like the shock of it, the shell shockness of it is just very intense. I just feel like since they passed, it just feels like it happened just a minute ago, and that you haven't been able to get over it, to move beyond this sort of like, hearing this news, really. Down here to the Tower and the Nine of Swords, I felt that, it's like the foundation or the basis of your world is just rocked to the core in a way where it's destabilized, and you're in your mind about this experience where you're constantly going over the trauma of what's happened. It's like you're going over it and over it and over it, and it's really affecting everything. It's affecting your, I felt like it's affecting your health, your mental health, your physical health, the health of your world, if that makes sense to you. It just feels like you're unable to integrate back into your body in a way where you become present again. And it's destroyed your ability to feel confident about being able to do anything. It's like whoa, and like I just don't feel like I can stop and find my feet and get grounded. It's like I can't get grounded. It's really shaken you up, and I feel like my nerves are jangled. I feel like I can't focus, and I just, it's like I feel like I'm reeling still. And I feel that what's so strong here for me, with the Tower and the Nine of Swords and Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Swords, it's like I'm stuck in the past. I can't let go of all of these associations, all of these memories, all of these ideas that relate to everything that you've ever had with this person that you've lost. And I'm so fearful that if I let go, I'm going to lose them forever. And this person is wanting to say to you that they haven't gone anywhere, that they've been right by your side since they passed. They've not gone anywhere. They've been with you this whole time. And they're trying to reach out to you, but you're so locked in to your mind about all of these things that you're reflecting on that they can't get through to you because you can't feel them. And they want you to stop, and they're saying just let go for a moment and allow all the noise to stop. That you won't lose them if you let go. Just let go of your mind and allow yourself to stop and calibrate for a moment, so that, maybe for the first moment, just a moment, a second, then just give yourself a few minutes, and then stop, and then give yourself a few hours, and maybe a few days, and maybe even a few weeks, and you won't lose them. If you calibrate yourself by letting go, you'll begin to feel them in ways that you hadn't anticipated. Yeah, you'll begin to see them as they are with you now, and you'll feel them as they always were, but also as you feel them now. You'll be able to feel them, is what I'm trying to say to you, or what they're trying to say to you. But also you'll feel them in more fulfilling ways, because you'll see them in your dreams, and you'll see them in your daydreams, and you'll feel them in your feelings, and you'll have a moment where you'll smell something. It'll trigger like an experience, and you'll realize that this person is with you, that they're trying to speak to you in signs and symbols, and that they haven't gone anywhere, because at the end of the day they've just gone to spirit, and they're still here with you by your side. So this message is really strong. They want you to stop, and they want you to let go. And they want you just not to think about things for a while. And they want you to find strength through doing this. They want you to do this because they're very worried about your health. They're very worried about the fact that you haven't been able to find your center and to become grounded, and that this is impacting on you in a way that is mentally and emotionally and physically and even environmentally becoming really unhealthy for you. So they're here to guide you, and they are here with you. And this person has so much love to give you that it's worth just stopping to let it all go, so that you can feel that. Because once you feel it, you'll be comforted, because you'll know that they're there. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much, and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading, and today we are looking at messages from the other side, so we're tuning into spirit. And I'm up here to Chariot and the Ace of Swords. I felt like this is somebody who passed really quickly, and I felt they passed with some kind of force. I don't know whether that was an accident or some sort of instantaneous passing that, like I get a sense that maybe like a car accident for some people, or just some kind of situation that just, I feel like an accident is really strong here, or passing quickly. Either way, it's just like it's instant, and I felt there's a force to it, like a real force. It's sort of, I kind of just feel this person passed quickly, instantaneously, and that there was no opportunity or no moment to really kind of stop and pause, or it was black and white. It happened just very quickly. I feel like this is somebody who loved speed and liked going fast and going hard. There's something very impatient about this person. It's like they just want to get to where they're going. They want to win as well. They're very competitive force within them. They're very focused on achievement and successfully getting to do whatever it is that they really want to do, whether that's actually work or whether that's some sort of a game like a sport. Or I just feel that this is somebody who goes fast, they go hard, and they like speed. For me, this feels like a thrill seeker. Yeah, somebody who likes to take a risk, who doesn't think twice about it. They're just very much in the moment, going for it, and it's live or die. That's how it feels to me. I felt like this person was built really well. Like, you know, like, and by that I mean they were very healthy and had a real robust physical nature. I felt this person was built for hard knocks, is what I want to say. I felt this person could be really into sports, into being fit, into doing things like racing, you know. I get a feeling that this person was just very engaged within their physicality, and they were, you know, just all guns blazing with it. This person feels like they have a very strong presence in a room or amongst a crowd of people. There's something very attractive about them. I kind of feel like they really stand out. It could be their stature in terms of the way they're built as a person. It could be the presence at an energetic level. They just seem to have a sharpness to them. You know, like they stand out in an attractive way, you know? People look at this person. Very success orientated in terms of their focus, at whatever that means, but there's a competitiveness to it, yeah? Very focused on achievement, you know, within their career, very focused on winning. They always want to be number one. You know, you couldn't sit down and have, you know, like play a game with this person without it getting into that kind of vibe of them wanting to win it, you know? And I felt like they did win. I felt like this person always was winning because they're just very super focused on actually getting that kind of a result. That was very much what they were all about. They wanted to be the best. You know, they wanted to be standing on the podium in whatever shape or form that meant. You know, they wanted to be number one because they wanted to be good at everything that they did. You know, I think they put a lot into their focus. This is an intelligent person who's incredibly perceptive, and I think very, 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 very sharply, you know, pinning any kind of objective or goal down in a way where they just, you know, really go for it 100%. You know, they're just fully on board, where they don't second guess themselves. No self-doubt with this person. No self-doubt whatsoever. Could be quite cocky though. Could be quite cocky. You know, like I think could be a bit cheeky. A little bit of a chip on their shoulder at times. You know, like I think that they could maybe think that they're better than everybody else. Definitely, yeah. I felt that they had, you know, almost like stubbornness about them as well. Like, you know, it's like if they thought that they were right, you know, like they weren't going to back down from that. You know, like it's they fully believed that. So there's an inflexibility there to sort of look at maybe the point of view of other people. It's very much about what they think, what they want. It's very much about the way they do it, how they want it to be done. Quite one-tracked or single-minded in that respect, I felt, you know, and could be quite inflexible. But it's a part of that makeup to want to win, you know, because you got to believe it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what it is that you're doing in a way where you just give it 100%. Yeah, I felt like a very useful energy came through here. There's a robustness, a vitality that comes through that just says to me the energy of this person was either very healthy and older or very young and vibrant, you know? Bright, intelligent, clearly focused, very... I felt that the two of you, before this person had passed, I felt like there was some kind of a argument or an unresolved issue, and that this person had been quite cold to you. I felt like they walked away and cut you off and hadn't responded to you. I don't know whether it was an argument or an unresolved problem, but I just kind of feel like there's a sharpness that comes through here with this person. Excuse me. And they were really unapologetic about that. You know, it's like, no, this is how I see it, and, you know, I'm done with this. I kind of felt this was left in the balance and it wasn't resolved. And that when this person passed, it's like they passed without you been able to kind of touch base or rebalance things in a way where it was resolved. I'm going to say this person, I just kind of feel that they're so full of life and they wanted to do so much. And the fact that they passed over when they did, it feels like they were really cut short from being able to do all the things they really ever wanted to do. Coming over here to the Tower and the Page of Pentacles, I felt like before this person passed, I felt that you were trying to get hold of them or trying to sort of win their attention in some way. It's almost like you're trying to make your case, trying to explain yourself to this person. And I felt like you put a lot of effort into trying to restabilize the connection with them in a way that but the result was that your efforts were fruitless. Like you just couldn't seem to get the attention of this person in a way that got them to listen. They weren't listening to you. They wouldn't. I kind of feel like for somebody that it's like this person just wouldn't take your calls or wouldn't answer your messages. I kind of feel like they cut you out, for some people. But I felt, and I kind of feel like you were kicked to the curb in some ways. I kind of feel like you've gotten the sharp end of it. Like I don't know that you did anything wrong. Like I felt like you left the door open for this person in a way where you were kind of open to a new beginning in some ways, to start again, to make sense of things. I felt like you reached out to this person, but it was ignored, and this person passed very quickly. And since that point, it's like, it's just been really difficult for you to try and make sense of what it is that's happened and the way it all sort of panned out. It's like you can't get your head around it. And I feel that it's almost like you're wishing that you could go back and help them to see that you meant no harm, whatever it is that happened. That there was never any kind of ill. What do I want to say? You never meant any harm. That's what I want to say. It's very difficult to make sense of you. I felt that you're reaching out and actually doing what you're doing here by trying to find a message to them. It's not like you. I didn't feel that this is something that you would usually do, and I felt that there was some kind of. It's it's almost like you're desperate to try and make sense of it in a way where you can put the pieces together, but at the same time, it's like you're not. I don't feel like you're a spiritual person necessarily. Maybe you're open to it now, but I feel that it's like this isn't something I would do, but I've got nothing else left, so I'll try anything, right? And for you, it's unfinished business that lays in the balance in a way where you'd just like to be able to get an answer and to put some pieces together so that you can make sense of it and kind of just let it rest. I have to be honest with you. I also felt that this other person was highly rational, and I don't feel like they would have thought that reaching out in this kind of way would have necessarily made sense either. I think that I have to be honest with you, the two of you. I think there are a lot of similarities in your character. Down here with Temperance and the 8 of Cups, I felt there was a lot of similarities in your characters, and I felt that before all of this had happened, that you're actually very close and that you actually shared a big part of each other's lives. I want to say that this is like a best friend or a sibling. It does feel to me like it could be a really good friend, that has a very long history or a strong history or a basis that's quite, connected and very heartfelt. But then this thing happened where you fell out and this person passed, and it's been very troublesome. This person wants to say that they can see your pain. They're so sorry that they walked away from you, right? They can see that actually was really hurtful. They can see that there's a lot of pain and hurt that is caused as a consequence of that. They had deeper reasons for doing what it is that they did. It actually wasn't about you. They had to go on their own journey in a way, because it's a journey of self-discovery, and in some ways this was an excuse, you know, like a catalytic opportunity that actually gave them freedom to be able to just cut away and do what they needed to do. They needed to go deeper within themselves. So in some ways, without them necessarily knowing, it was somewhat of a spiritual turn in their life. You know, I kind of feel that this person had always been very, very quite selfish in many ways. You know, they'd always put themselves first. They'd always rationalize situations in a way where they were quite sort of divorced of you know, the feeling that you know, the feelings of other people. They were willing to make certain sacrifices, and if that meant hurting some people, then, you know, as long as they got to where they needed to be in terms of winning or achieving some sort of successful outcome, then that was the most important thing. So they put themselves first, and they're very sorry about that. And I feel that this person came to a point where they got to a point in the relationship with you where it's just like they realized they had to kind of go a bit deeper within themselves, because they knew that they weren't giving to you and to other people in a way that actually had some sort of value or meaning that actually validated the relationship in more of a balanced way, you know, that they needed to take some sort of accountability. And that by kind of being very cold with you, and maybe being cold with other people as well. I don't feel like that you're the only person that they've done this to. That it was just, it was kind of almost like easier to kind of wipe the slate clean in a way, so that they kind of had the freedom to go where they needed to go and be who they needed to be to figure this out. Yeah, it was a turning point in their life. So they want you to know that this wasn't actually about you, it was actually about them, and that they're very sorry about what they've done, because they know that they've actually caused a lot of pain. They certainly want you to find healing and to find love in terms of the connection that you actually had with them, because that's always been there. And so whatever they said, or whatever it is that they did that happened before they passed, they can't make that right. They can't go back in time and make it all good. Well, on one hand, they're saying sorry, but they're also saying that I had no other choice. It's what I had to do to get on with it. Look, I hope this has made some sense to you. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how does it access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.